well, that was auction, but you said that you had done some work with wholesalers. I'm curious what's happening for investors in this wholesaling market, and how, are these people coming to you for money once they're buying from the wholesaler? I mean, who is buying these inflated properties? I don't get it. What's happening there?
Yeah, well, I personally have bought a few wholesale properties. I think, let's see, last year and this year. So, yeah, I purchased down here in Florida 3 deals from wholesalers. Wholesaling is a tough gig. I mean, you've really got to know the market, your numbers. You've got to be able to close and sell a deal, and then know what the rehab numbers are. There's so much. Like, to me, a successful wholesaler, I've only known a few.
I bet.
And I did buy a property last year off a wholesaler. If it's a wholesaler that knows what they're doing, knows their numbers, knows the market, and really knows everything that they should, really, I want to try to build a lending relationship with those wholesalers. And I'll give you a perfect example. Last year, a gentleman had emailed me a single-family concrete block 1950s house over in Arlington Park, Sarasota. So not too far from 301 and Sarasota Memorial Hospital. It's an area that's on fire right now.
Yeah, I like that area.
There's a lot of infill lot development that's going on. You're seeing house knockdowns. So lots in that area are going for top dollar. And this wholesaler was looking for $140,000 for the contract. And I went over with my agent. I looked at it. I sat in the driveway for probably 3.5 hours with my agent as he proceeded to tell me that the lot was worth $175,000 alone. And I'm like, well, prove it to me. Show it to me. Like, we sat there. We pulled his laptop out. We literally stood in the driveway for 3.5 hours going through comps on his computer, looking at other stuff, driving around the neighborhood. And he convinced me to put an offer in on that property. So we locked it up. I come to find out so it was an assignment of contract, right? So wholesalers work in terms of they'll go lock up a contract with a seller, then they'll go try to sell that contract for a premium, and that's their wholesale fee. Well, in this case, the wholesaler had locked up the property for $122,000 and was going to sell it to me for $140,000. So he's going to make an $18,000 assignment fee. Not too shabby. Certainly the largest wholesale fee I've ever paid, but there's wholesale fees of, much more than that. So took the property down, listed it, and had it under contract 2 weeks later to a builder for $175,000. Builder took down the house and has just built a house, I think, that's listed currently in Arlington Park right now for it's listed for $725,000. But let's stop and look at, so if you're a wholesaler listening to this, our show today, your show today, call me because if I had financed that lot for them, instead of them making an $18,000 assignment fee on that contract, if he had just taken down and purchased the lot himself and turned around and just put it on the MLS, he could have made $50,000 on the property. And he might have paid me $5,000 or $6,000 in financing costs on that. So,
wow.
He could have more than doubled his fee.
So say that again. Say that again just in case nobody heard it, because there's real magic in those numbers. And that's what investors are looking for. They're looking for those magic numbers. There's some magic in those numbers.
Yeah, that's a situation where, and I just had lunch with another wholesaler, or breakfast on Monday morning with another wholesaler, and I can tell he gets it. He knows his numbers. He knows what he's doing, and we want to work with him. We basically want to lend to him because he gets it. So, but to go over those numbers again, the wholesaler got the property under contract for $122,000, sold it to me for $140,000. So he made an $18,000 assignment fee. If he had just come to us for the financing, he could have bought that property for $122,000 and sold it for $175,000, the same we did. All we did was take it down and put it on the MLS to get maximum exposure on it.
Based on what the information your agent had shared with you.
Yep. And so the one thing that the wholesalers can't do is you want to get to the largest market possible. So I'm sure you've gotten the emails, I've gotten the emails. You see wholesalers, hey, you want to get added to my cash buyers list? Send me your email. Well, so they're building their cash buyers list in order to try to get, as many people to buy their stuff. But the reality of it is it goes out in terms of thousands of people that are looking, if it goes on the MLS. So sometimes just he could only get 140,000 from it based on the cash buyers that were, in his little network of his cash buyers list, versus if he had taken it down, he's not allowed to advertise it on the MLS because he's not the owner of the property. But in that case, I mean, granted, hey, I love making a quick $20,000 on the property. We closed the whole thing start to finish in about 5 weeks with the builder. I made money, the wholesaler made money, but the wholesaler could have made more than twice what he made.
That's really, I appreciate you going over that again, and I hope that there's somebody in the audience that heard that's tuned in, because an informed voice for the novice investor and a voice of reason for the more seasoned investor. And there is good reason to pay attention to building those relationships with people who are looking out not just for themselves, but actually are thinking about you as an investor. And that's something special you're bringing to the table. And I think you were modest in your description of what sets you apart, because I do believe that lenders who actually understand to build relationships are rare. We used to have a thing called relationship banking back where you went in and the banker knew you and you got a line of credit because your signature was good enough, because he knew what kind of a person you were. It was much easier to do that. And you're bringing some of that, really an old-fashioned concept, back to a business that's become very much about Wall Street. And here you are eking out this little part of it in Sarasota and Connecticut, Sarasota, Florida, and wherever in Connecticut, and you're offering that same kind of hometown, very personalized, we will work almost like a partner. I mean, we want to see you succeed because that's where our success is.
Yeah, no, the relationships, I can't stress that enough. I mean, I've got a borrower that we just did our first loan with last year. Only took down a small little $50,000 loan from us, but did a fantastic job. He's one of the top quality contractors that I've seen. Did a fantastic job. Listed the house, sold it. I was waiting for him to call me on his next property. He called me a couple weeks ago. He said, "Hey, got a great little house in a great little town. It's a little bit more." He's like, "Do you have the money?" I'm like, "How much you looking for?" He's like, "Oh, I'm going to need a couple $100,000. I'm like, "Yeah, not a problem." And so I haven't seen, just based on what he's already shown and proven to us, I've already okayed I haven't gone up to do the walkthrough in the property yet, but I can tell, I see what he sees, and I know what he's capable of, and he's capable of taking, a fire damaged house and turning it into something beautiful. So that's the relationship. In 5 minutes, he can tell me what the house is. I pull it up. I know what he's looking at already, and I give him the go-ahead in 5 minutes.
So he knew how to
he's
get
approved.
in touch with you, Robert.
Yep.
How does somebody in the same circumstance out there in that audience, how does that person get in touch with you?
Sure. No, again, we are, if you're looking for funding on properties in central Connecticut and from Tampa down to Fort Myers, Florida, please give us a call. You can find us on our toll-free vanity number, and that's 844-FLIP-IT-4. That's 844-FLIP-IT-4, or 844-354-7484. The easiest thing to probably get in touch with us to remember is just go to www.flipitfunding.com. Our phone number is on the website. There's a little contact screen. You can put in your information, and I'll give you a call. If you've got, if it sounds like you kind of, have the ability and are a good fit with us, I would say, give me a call, and I'll see if I can help you. See if we can start to build that relationship.
Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate it very much. This has been Real Estate Hotwired. I'm Maggie Rose March, and if you You can. Oh, I forgot. I just kind of forgot, but I'm sorry about that, audience. But if you have missed any of what we said, or if you have any questions or comments, you can always find us at societybitesradio.com or at maggierosemarch.com. Thank you.
This has been Real Estate Hotwired with Maggie Rose March.